What a king, what a king.
7K dreamer please.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be checking out the final comeback hero, and that is Gelidus. Now most of you might think he is a PvE DPS now, but I'm gonna try him out in arena regardless. He decreases all damage he takes by 30%, increases his own physical attack by 30%, provides death immunity to his whole team, and also if he lands a skill on a frozen enemy, he deals additional 300% to all enemies. He also deals 200% on his first skill to 3 enemies with the highest physical attack and magic attack, decreases their physical attack and magic attack by 50%, increases the damage dealt to them. And then for his second skill, he deals 300% to all enemies, applies an additional 50% crit rate, decreases their freeze resist by 50%, and also has a 70% chance to freeze the enemies for 2 turns. And for his awakened skill, he deals 300% to all enemies as well, ignores defense, 90% chance to freeze this time, and also changes the formation of the enemy team. For him, I've given him double crit because this will increase his status cast rate, double HP to increase bulk, Guardian Ring with Isabella's Vigor so that he gets back health when he uses his skills, and then hopefully that will prolong him for an even longer period of time. And then I give him Survive with 1 HP, increase Awakening Gauge, and increase skill use chance to make the most out of his skill set, and also so that he can try to be able to land the Freeze Awaken skill like what you saw in the intro. So for his traits, I've given him Silence Resist, Sleep Resist, and Stun Resist. And let's check him out in Arena. I'm using the universal team here because I think that's where he fits the best. Unfortunately, I cannot try him in a CC team because it doesn't really gel together so well, and also because there's limited slots on the team, so I can only use him in the universal team with Yonhee and Fenrir. Fenrir is here to buff the lethal rates of all my heroes, that is why I can afford to give them crit rate weapons. And of course, even with Fenrir here, he will greatly boost the lethal rate of Yonhee, who is able to deal even more damage than she already can. My Yonhee is very active in this first match, and I guess that's pretty good because she's able to get rid of a lot of shields and all that. And here Gelidus goes. Thankfully, he used the top skill, which actually can freeze, and he freezes the entire enemy team with Judas coming in here with Fear. And if RNG goes well, you will see that you actually wasted 2 turns of the enemies because the Fear also immobilizes them, so certain heroes on the enemy team cannot move, and there's 2 turns gone for them, and they really just couldn't do anything. So freeze with another CC is more of the ideal combinations, I would say. And before you know it, the enemy is already down. Very fast battle for universal team. Over here we have also a universal team, I believe, and Gelidus, super active, goes first, freezes the entire team. My Yonhee actually proceeds to cast the Sleep skill here, and as I mentioned earlier in the first match, if you play it right, if RNG happens well, you realize that my Yonhee is actually putting the entire enemy to sleep, those that are no longer frozen. Okay, so this effectively cuts them off 2 turns, and by the time they get to react, it's already back to my turn and it's turn 4. And this means that their Guardian Rings are already down. I guess the Fenrir broke out of the Awakening because my Yonhee actually did her speed attack on the sleeping targets, which is totally uncalled for. And yes, as you can see, turn 4 itself, and Yonhee is already slain much of the team. Of course, that's also with the help of Gelidus, and I really effectively locked out the enemy for a few turns. And Gelidus has his Awaken skill ready, so I don't think he's gonna use it. Yeah, he's gonna use it now. which means the freeze is gonna land, because take note that I did give him, you know, increased status effect cast rate on the fighter's soul, so his awakened skill can actually freeze at 110% chance, which is basically guaranteed unless they have resistance. And I fast forwarded the match here because the enemy's Gelidus actually was in a immortal form. It took too long to kill him, and yeah, I think Gelidus finishes off here without the freeze, just pure damage. As you can see, Gelidus is surviving pretty well as well, so it's not like what we usually think, that, you know, he is actually pretty frail. I think with the right setup and right team, you can still give him good bulk, because Wukong actually helps to reduce 4-turn target damage, so that is already a plus for his bulk. He does reduce physical attack and magic attack from the start, and lands the effect attack on the Dylans at the back line, so that's very good. And freezes the entire team, and here we go. Unfortunately, the Guardian Ring was still active. So, you know, otherwise that damage, can you imagine? It would be insane. That is the kind of sequence that we all want to see from Gelidus. Awaken skill after the free skill, or vice versa. Either way is fine, just use a skill after your free skill. Yeah, so it was just very unfortunate that the Guardian Ring was still up. I think he was just using his skills too early, too fast. Thankfully, Fenrir helped me get rid of most of the enemies here. And you see that he's actually not taking a lot of damage. He didn't take a lot of damage from the enemy Fenrir, which is great. Hopefully I can come back from this because of the paralysis that affected him. I think I missed, but I did put them to sleep. Here he decreases the physical and magic attack of the enemies, kills off the cult, so what's left is the Fenrir. I do have a free skill ready, so I think the Fenrir is pretty much dead here, because the moment I unfreeze him, he's gonna take a lot of damage from the freeze. And my Gelidus is still alive. Yeah, the Fenrir just dies. So this is a great match to showcase Gelidus, not only his strength but also his bulk. I mean, to stay all the way to the end of a match now is really rare, especially for someone like Gelidus who has no longer been part of the meta for so long. I think, you know, he's definitely proving himself that he's actually worthy. Hopefully we get to see more here. My Wukong and Gelidus were not very active actually in the first few matches, if you realize. So they were kind of just doing a passive job. Gelidus does a turn decrease here, which is great, but not really necessary anymore because it's turn 4 next turn. Now this skill has a potential to hit pretty hard, but I still have Guardian Rings active. Unfortunately, she shot through my Fenrir and Gelidus. Gelidus is still, you know, chilling, literally. He gets reduced to 1 HP, which is super unfortunate, and thankfully he did not get silenced. He is gonna freeze here. I hope he freezes everyone. Yes, he did. Perfect. This is the perfect setup. Again. Thankfully, he survived on 1 HP, and I mean, look at the things he can do even at 1 HP. And he actually healed up. But unfortunately still died to the very strong attack from the enemy Wukong. He healed up because of the Isabella's Vigor. Ah, thank goodness, Yeonhee won this at 1 HP. So insane. I do realize that nowadays heroes tend to use speed attacks a lot more, especially when they realize that the enemy has 1 HP, they tend to just strike them. Here's the attack reduction and increased damage dealt, but I don't think it's gonna be very useful because the Guardian Rings are up. So this is a skill that comes in better towards turn 3 and turn 4. Again, he's super active here. He uses his freeze. Freezes the entire team. Unfortunately, he didn't get his awaken skill up. But it's okay because, even if he gets his awaken skill up, I'm pretty sure the Guardian Rings was still active, so it doesn't matter. I would rather he really hit through with his awaken skill like now. That damage is super good. The amount of HP he just took off the enemy. Unfortunately, my Fenrir went to touch the Kris for no reason. But, it's great that we see a Kris because Kris can't do anything to me. I have death immunity for 12 turns. Yeah, like I said, the speed attacks happen really efficient now, which is a good change or tweak from Netmarvel's part. So far, what do you guys think of him performing? I mean, he doesn't really benefit the team much besides the death immunity because most of his kit is really surrounded for himself. He does have a couple of debuffs here and there, but beyond that, like from this skill, physical attack decrease and magic attack decrease is not very strong. And I guess the reason why I like to use him right now is because he's actually pretty fun and no one is resisting freeze now. So when he does land his freeze, it is almost 100% guaranteed that he will land the freeze. And right now his freeze skill is going through, freezes the entire enemy team, also gets his awaken skill, and here he comes down with the super heavy damage of almost 400,000. And you saw the freeze proc damage, right? Just now there was so many red numbers coming up. That is the true power of Gelidus, as we have seen in the intro. So thanks to him, he really helped me settle the battle within almost a minute only. I mean, he's still a pretty strong hero to be honest, and on top of that he's still very fun to use. So let me know what you guys think of Gelidus in the comments. Thank you so much for supporting the comeback series. I have come to the end of it, and be sure to stay tuned for more arena videos coming up with the 7v7. Thank you so much and see you!